The international airport buzzed with a constant stream of activity, a never-ending symphony of rolling luggage, distant chatter, and automated announcements reverberating throughout the expansive terminal. Amid the hustle and bustle, Captain Rafael del Rosario moved effortlessly through the crowd. Clad in casual jeans and a polo shirt, he blended in seamlessly with the travelers, his unassuming presence masking the weight of decades of experience as a Filipino-American pilot. His humble demeanor belied the extraordinary achievements he had made in the aviation industry. Rafi was heading to an aviation summit where he was slated to present on cutting-edge safety protocols that he had personally helped to develop, which had revolutionized aviation practices. To him it was just another day. Despite the weight of his accomplishments, they didn't weigh him down in the least. As Rafi approached the restricted area leading to the private lounge for airline crews, he was stopped by Officer Liam Carter, a burly airport security officer stationed near the entrance. Carter, known for his harsh demeanor and reputation for profiling those he deemed unfit to be in certain spaces, immediately noticed Rafi. His gaze sharpened as he took in Rafi's appearance, clouding his judgment. "Excuse me, sir," Carter said, stepping into Rafi's path. "This is a restricted area. Passengers are not allowed beyond this point." Rafi gave a polite smile, reaching for his ID. "I'm a pilot, officer. I'm headed to the crew lounge before my flight." Carter scoffed, his eyes scanning Rafi from head to toe with clear skepticism. "A pilot? Sure you are. Let me see that ID." Rafi handed over his identification, maintaining his composure even as Carter's dismissive attitude persisted. Carter took a brief glance at the badge before shaking his head. "This doesn't look legit. Where'd you get it?" "Some website." A small crowd of onlookers began to gather, drawn in by the rising tension. Rafi, ever the professional, took a deep breath, allowing his years of experience to take over. "Officer, I assure you my ID is valid. I've been flying for decades. If you need confirmation, feel free to contact airport administration." Carter snickered, his condescension dripping from every word. "Flying for decades. Maybe paper airplanes. You don't look like any pilot I've ever seen." A few people in the crowd murmured among themselves, some even pulling out their phones to record the confrontation. Among them was Laura Stevens, a prominent aviation journalist who had just disembarked from a flight. She recognized Rafi immediately, his name and face having graced the cover of several industry magazines. Her brow furrowed as she stepped forward, her journalist instincts kicking in. "What's going on here?" she asked, her voice cutting through the tension. Carter, already irritated, turned to her. "Just handling a security situation, ma'am. This man claims to be a pilot, but his story doesn't add up." Laura's eyes widened as she assessed the situation. "Claims? Do you have any idea who this is?" she asked, her voice sharp. Carter raised an eyebrow, unshaken in his skepticism. "Should I?" Laura's tone grew more forceful. "This is Captain Rafael del Rosario," she said. "He's one of the most respected figures in aviation. He's revolutionized safety protocols and received numerous accolades for his contributions to the industry. If anyone belongs here, it's him." The crowd gasped, murmurs rippling through the group as Laura's words spread. Carter's confidence faltered, his smirk fading. "That's not what his ID looked like to me," he muttered defensively. Laura's gaze intensified. "Maybe that's because you didn't bother to check properly. Or perhaps you assumed he couldn't be who he said he was because of how he looks. Either way, you owe him an apology." Before Carter could respond, Airport Director Martin Hayes arrived, alerted by the commotion. His face lit up with recognition as soon as he spotted Rafi. "Captain Del Rosario," he said warmly. "My apologies for the delay. Is everything all right?" Rafi nodded, though frustration lingered on his face. "It seems there was a misunderstanding, Director. Officer Carter here didn't think I looked the part of a pilot." Hayes' expression darkened as he turned toward Carter. "Officer, Captain Del Rosario is a guest of honor at today's aviation summit. He is not only a pilot but a pioneer in the field. I expect better judgment from my staff." Carter's bravado crumbled under Hayes' stern gaze. I didn't know," he stammered. "Laura, never one to miss an opportunity," interjected. "That's the problem. You didn't bother to find out before making assumptions." Soon, footage of the encounter spread across social media, sparking outrage. Hashtags like #RespectRafi and #EndRacial Profiling began trending globally, drawing widespread attention to the incident. News outlets picked up the story, amplifying the conversation about the biases professionals from diverse backgrounds face. Rafi, though shaken by the experience, refused to let it derail his mission. Later that day, as he stood before a packed audience of industry leaders at the summit, his confidence was undiminished. He spoke passionately about innovation, safety, and the importance of fostering inclusivity in aviation. "Today's skies are shared by people from every corner of the world," Rafi said, his voice steady and powerful. "If we are to navigate them safely and successfully, we must recognize and value the contributions of all individuals, no matter their background or appearance. Bias has no place in our industry, or in any industry." The audience erupted into applause, a standing ovation that lasted several minutes. Among them was Laura, her pride evident as she captured the moment for her article. Meanwhile, Officer Carter watched the event unfold on a breakroom TV. His face a mixture of shame and introspection. The airport administration had suspended him and required him to undergo cultural sensitivity and professional conduct training. The footage of his encounter with Rafi played on a loop in his mind, forcing him to confront the prejudices that had clouded his judgment. As the summit came to an end, Rafi was surrounded by passengers and colleagues alike, all eager to express their admiration and support. What had started as an unjust encounter had transformed into a reaffirmation of his mission, to break barriers and inspire change, both in the cockpit and beyond. Rafi's story became a symbol of resilience and progress, a shining example of the importance of systemic change and the power of rising above adversity. His legacy as an aviation pioneer remained untouched, his story serving as a beacon of hope and possibility for future generations. Music.